During the chaos of World War II, hidden in the remote fields of Manchuria, a horrifying secret was born. Behind guarded fences, a place existed where humanity was ignored, and science turned into a nightmare. The events that unfolded there were so unspeakable, they were erased from history, leaving behind only silence, betrayal, and unanswered questions. What really happened behind those walls? In 1936, the Imperial Japanese Army created Unit 731, a covert biological and chemical warfare research unit under the leadership of General Shiro Ishii. This wasn't a research lab, it was a factory of death. The facility conducted unspeakable experiments on thousands of victims: Chinese civilians, prisoners of war, and even children. Some of the experiments conducted were disease testing, in which prisoners were deliberately infected with deadly pathogens like plague, cholera, and anthrax. The goal? To study the progression of these diseases and weaponize them. Vivisection. Without anesthesia, prisoners were dissected alive to observe the effects of diseases on internal organs. This was done to gain real-time insight into how the human body responds to infections and injuries. Frostbite experiments. Prisoners were subjected to extreme cold to study the effects of frostbite. Weapon testing. Subjects were used as live targets for grenades, flamethrowers, and biological weapons to evaluate their effectiveness in combat scenarios. Pressure chamber experiments. Victims were placed in chambers where pressure was gradually increased or decreased to see how much the human body could endure before succumbing. Experiments on women and children. Mothers and their unborn children were dissected to study reproductive health and disease transmission. Even babies born from the women imprisoned were not spared. What was the purpose of this unthinkable cruelty? Was this science, or was it something far more sinister? The horror doesn't end with the experiments. Declassified documents reveal the involvement of some of Japan's highest-ranking elites. Even Emperor Hirohito's brother, Prince Mikasa, toured Unit 731's headquarters and witnessed films of prisoners being gassed. But why were these atrocities allowed to continue? The answer lies in secrecy, ambition, and the global race for biological warfare supremacy. After Japan's defeat, Unit 731's leader, General Shiro Ishii, was faced with inevitable justice, or so it seemed. What happened next would change history and morality forever. As Japan's empire crumbled in 1945, the truth of Unit 731's atrocities threatened to emerge. Led by General Shiro Ishii, the unit destroyed much of the evidence. But secrets like these couldn't be buried forever. The United States, hungry for scientific data, made a shocking deal with Ishii and his colleagues. Full immunity, no trials, no justice, in exchange for their research. General Douglas MacArthur himself approved the arrangement, ensuring that data from experiments on human lives would enrich American biological warfare programs. While Nazi war criminals faced justice at Nuremberg, the perpetrators of Unit 731 walked free. Their data was classified by the US government, their crimes swept under the rug. Some of these scientists even rose to prominent positions in Japan's medical community, and the victims, forgotten by history, their screams silenced by political convenience and scientific ambition. Unit 731 is more than a dark chapter in history. It's a reminder of how power and knowledge can corrupt. But one question remains. Was the cost of uncovering this knowledge worth the price of humanity itself? Were these horrors justified in the name of science? Or are there some truths humanity should never seek?